Gladiators were weird. I've had gladiators on the brain for the past 4 days, so I wanted to make a video talking about why they are really weird. The Roman Empire sucked. Thousands of people in an arena watching two dudes fight to the death is just like, why? The fact that the Gladiator games existed for so long and that they were so popular shows what kind of mindset that the ancient Roman common person had. And that was a desensitization towards people that were not themselves, where you could have something like the Gladiator games exist. And it kind of makes me look at human history now and the media that we all consume as in like, wow, I feel like as a society we've moved really far from the Gladiator games, but have we really? Because if you go on Netflix or any streaming service or whatever, you're going to see violence in some programs. Some strive to be as realistic as possible, and some even make violence funny and a joke. And we've kind of created a narrative that violence is okay behind a screen because it's not real. While some things have changed with humanity, some things haven't, and people, for whatever reason, are still attracted to that violence. And me, myself, I love a good fight sequence. It would be so fun to play a gladiator in a movie, because then you could spend like 7 months getting buffed with a personal trainer, and at the end of the day you could be like, wow, I made a movie and I get to keep this body because I'm hot now. I'm totally digressing off of the subject here. What's very interesting about the gladiators is that they were not all slaves or prisoners. Often retired soldiers or volunteers decided to become gladiators because it could be a lucrative financial opportunity. It could also be a lucrative death opportunity, but for some reason that did not seem to faze these people. Some Roman emperors used gladiators as ways to control the masses. They were like, you don't have a lot of freedoms, Roman citizens, but guess what? I'm gonna give you some gladiator games. Enjoy. What's funny about gladiators is that they were sex symbols back in their day. Apparently, archaeologists have found rooms that like young girls used to live in ancient Roman days. The girls had drawings of their favorite gladiators in their bedrooms on their walls, like girls do about boy bands now or whatever. So the gladiators were the heartthrobs of the day, and then they would go and hope that their favorite gladiator didn't die. Like, that's like a little weird. Like, I really like Blackpink. I would not want to see Blackpink in a gladiator fight. And the more that I've learned about gladiators, the more it sounds like the Hunger Games, because they had sponsors, some people volunteered, some people were forced into it. The Hunger Games is literally the gladiators. So how do gladiators relate to today? I think today people are not into violence in real life, but they're into violence in fake life. And as long as it's fun, as long as they know that they're safe, a lot of people really enjoy seeing violence. How did the Roman adults explain to their children, hey, for entertainment, we're gonna watch somebody like get killed? So what would possess somebody to want to become a gladiator if they didn't have to be? And how did the gladiators actually feel about being gladiators? Some of them, according to history, enjoyed it, and that is not an opponent you'd ever want to go against. I wonder how some of these people who were gladiators learned to play crowds to kind of get public approval on their side so that they could earn a better life for themselves, and I wonder about how that must have felt. The kind of fear that these people were constantly living in. Like, what kind of life was that? A lot of things about history are just awful when you really think about it. Objectively, gladiators are exciting when you think about history, but when you really think about the humanity of it, it's weird and it's awful that so many people spectated probably the worst moments in people's lives. Are people in the future going to look at people now and think that our entertainment was disgusting the way that we look at the gladiators now and say that was really weird? And that's a great question that I can't answer, that only people in the future could answer, and I will pass away before people in the future are born to answer it, so I will never know, so I should probably stop worrying about it. It's weird to think about. Why do we enjoy the violence that we enjoy in media? If we look at people who are making these Hollywood movies that have violence, I don't think the people making violence in media are bad people. They were responding to an audience need or an audience desire to produce this type of media that has that violent content. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other videos. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.